Dear Dhamma friends, we have come to the second Dhamma sermon of this English medium retreat. May you give your consent by saying Sadhu Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Atitang nan vagameti nappati kankhe anagatang. Yadatitang pahinang tang happattanca anagatang. Paccupannanca yo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati. Asanghirang asankuppang tang vidva manubruhayeti. Dear Dhamma friends, we have taken one particular sutta as the topic for this Dhamma sermon. Actually, we started on yesterday. That is a sutta from Majjhima Nikaya. That is the 133rd sutta, which is called Bhaddekaratta Sutta, which is explained by Mahakaccana, Arahant Mahakaccana. So it is called Mahakaccana Bhaddekaratta Sutta. So there are 4 Bhaddekaratta Suttas mentioned in the Majjhima Nikaya, and one after the other, and talking about the same theme, but giving different explanations. In the sense, in first sutta, Buddha explains, the other sutta, Venerable Ananda explains, this third sutta, Venerable Mahakaccana explains, and the fourth sutta, again, Buddha explains once another monk faced the some similar situation. In this particular sutta, the 133rd sutta, so we, if we recall what I have mentioned on yesterday, so at that particular time, Buddha and the Sangha were residing at Rajagaha, closer to the hot springs. So one monk called Samiddhi, in the very early morning, during the dawn time, before the dawn time, he is going to have a bath, have a wash in these hot springs. So after having a bath, so he came out, and then he adorned his robes, and then he is waiting till his body become dry. And at that occasion, there is one deity, seems to be a female deity, approaching this Venerable Samiddhi, and she starts to ask several questions. So she asks whether Venerable Samiddhi knows the summary and exposition of the Bhaddekaratta. Bhaddekaratta literally means one excellent night, or single excellent night. So then Venerable Samiddhi answered that I don't know about the summary and the exposition, the Uddesa and the Vibhanga of Bhaddekaratta, and he asked from this deity whether she knows that, and she also says that she also doesn't know. And then she asked whether you know the verses. What are the verses related to Bhaddekaratta? That also Venerable Samiddhi answered that he didn't know, he don't know. And he again asked whether you know these the verses related to the Bhaddekaratta. And at that time, again, the verses are not known to Venerable Samiddhi, and again not known to this female deity. And then this female deity asked Venerable Samiddhi to know that, and to learn it, and live up to that, because she is telling that is more fundamental to the practice. So we need to understand actually the depth of these verses, so then only we can really appreciate the meaning of these verses. So we are slowly going through the verses, and now what happened is, after getting this request from the deity, so Venerable Samiddhi came back to the monastery and then explained this whole situation, whole incident to the Buddha, mentioning that he come across this kind of a deity, and she asked these questions, and I didn't know the summary and the exposition of the Bhaddekaratta. So please, Bhante, explain me the summary and the exposition of the Bhaddekaratta. Then Buddha says, okay, I will teach you Bhaddekaratta verses. And then Buddha explained only 4 verses. Just really didn't explain, actually just uttered 4 verses. And these 4 verses are very concise, and its meaning is very deep. And the first verse is related to the wandering in the past and the future. What it says, Atitang nanvagameti nappati kanke anagatang. Yadatitang pahinang tang appattancha anagatang. So yesterday we tried to explain this. So after Buddha simply said all these 4 verses, he simply went out without explaining it in detail. So at that time, the Sangha there, not only Samiddhi, Venerable Samiddhi, there are many other Sangha members, and they get into the question that who's going to explain this to us. Now they were thinking to approach Venerable Mahakaccana, because Venerable Mahakaccana is praised by the Buddha, who has the capacity to explain something which Buddha has mentioned in brief, in detail, to give a detailed explanation. So such skill is available with Venerable Mahakaccana. So the members of the Sangha agreed to approach Venerable Mahakaccana, and they go and had a cordial discussion, and then they request from Venerable Mahakaccana to explain these verses. Then in the beginning, Mahakaccana didn't agree, but rather hesitant. But when the monks are urging him to explain, then he starts to explain. The first part he is going to explain is what is Atitang Anvagameti, how one would go after the past. So here he is explaining that when one recalls the past, there may be certain scenes that we have seen, certain sights we have seen, and at that time our eyes are very healthy, we may be very young, very attractive. So now we are in the present moment, we are recalling that past experience, recalling that past scenery. So now we are giving life to that past scenery in the present moment. So as a result, the mind becomes desirable, lustful, somewhat elated, somewhat happy, joyful, and as a result, we start to enjoy it, we start to indulge in it, we start to delight in it. So as a result, Atitan Anvagameti, now we give life to that past incident. We revive that past incident. We renew that past incident. So the bad side of this we discussed on yesterday, taking another sutta that's in the Anguttara Nikaya Tika Nipata, where Buddha explains 3 ways of generating karma. So there he explains, if someone recalls some past activity which is more desirable and taking it to the surface of the mind, again and again mind being applied to that particular incident, applied to that, say in this situation, a sight, and examines all these details, and then mind becomes desirable, mind becomes enjoyable, mind becomes delightful, mind becomes attached, and ultimately mind becomes infatuated. So this infatuation Buddha calls as a fetter, therefore karma being generated. So this is the bad side of it. So we discussed this in detail on yesterday, and then Venerable Mahakaccana explains what is Atitan Nanvagameti, how one would not go after the past and would not renew the past experience. So there he says, one may not generate some sort of a desirable mind, desirable state of consciousness related to the past. So therefore the delight may not happen. Nabhinandati, delight may not happen. So as a result, mind is not renewing the past experience. So in this situation, again we use the same sutta which is talking about the karma. There Buddha explains that one understands the danger in renewing the past experience. So when again mind get indulged in the past experience, we are again regenerating karma. So one understands this, maybe theoretically, doesn't matter, but one understands it is not good. So I am again and again generating new karma. Mind again and again becomes lustful, desirable, and I am generating new karma. It is harmful to myself. So one tries to avoid it. And when one tries to avoid it, so he tries to maintain some sort of a dispassionate attitude towards the past incidents. So as a result, mind does not get desirable, mind does not get attached, and therefore, so mind becomes somewhat dispassionate, unentangled towards this past incident. So as a result, mind is not entangled, not going after this past incident. So this way we can combine these two suttas, where we are thinking about the past and generating karma, and where we understand the danger in it and trying to maintain some sort of a dispassion towards past experience. So this way mind little relaxed now. So whenever mind becomes desirable, lustful and attached to the past, so mind is shackled, mind is not free. But when knowingly we avoid such thing, then mind is somewhat relaxed. Now Venerable Mahakaccana explains to us the future, what is anagatam patikankati, how one may generate some sort of a desirable consciousness, some sort of a attached consciousness related to the future. So there, if we use his words, iti me chakkungsiya anagata maddhanang iti rupati appatiladdassa patilabhaya chittam panidhati. Now this would be the I, this would be the form. So I am explaining related to the I. So this would be the I, this would be the form. So likewise he is imagining, he is projecting his experience towards the future, and as a result he is wishing something, he is hoping something. It might be like this, I might be able to look at like this, I might be able to see this something, I might be able to see someone. So likewise we have various desirable people, various desirable sceneries, and we can imagine them, even though we are not yet really encounter that experience practically, but still we can imagine that. We can create that in our mind, we can hope it, we can wish it, and as a result, mind get attached. Mind becomes again attached, and mind becomes lustful. Panidhana paccayatang abhinandati. Now because of this wish, because of this hope, now some desire, some lust arise in the mind, to that we delight, to that we start to like. So something that we need to clarify here. So in the previous situation, we are recalling some past experience in the present moment. Presently, now mind becomes desirable. Presently, mind becomes lustful. And to the outcome is something which we delight in. Again, mind gets shackled, entangled. In this situation, related to the future, now we are imagining some past, some future experience, even though it haven't happened yet. But we are imagining, fantasizing, and now mind again becomes somewhat lustful, desirable. That is also joyful, delightful, and again mind gets shackled. Tang abhinandanto anagatam patikankati. Now, Venerable Mahakaccana explains, so because of this hoping, because of this wishing, again one becomes sort of giving life to the future experience in the present moment. So the similar sutta related to the karma, Buddha explains even in this way. If one generates some sort of a desirable mind, where mind becomes lustful, attached, even related to the future experience, one may generate karma. So yesterday we discussed about how we generate karma related to the past experience, and now here in this same sutta, that talking in Anguttara Nikaya Tika Nipata, same sutta explained that one can generate karma related to the future as well. So that is the bad side, that is the danger when we are fantasizing. So we haven't come across any practical, pragmatic or physical anything yet. Everything is now based in the mind, imagination, mind created, but unfortunately we create or generate karma as well. Now then Venerable Mahakaccana asks, what is anagatang na patikankati? So that in that situation one may not get into this sort of a situation. One may not get into some sort of a delight related to the future, fantasizing, dreaming, getting into hopes, wishes, and therefore there is no agitation in the mind, there is no delight arising in the mind, no joy arising in the mind. So therefore there is no renewing or there is no hoping generation of karma and no generation of attachment, lust in the mind related to the future experience in the present moment. So this is how now Venerable Mahakaccana explains this first verse. Now we get into the first verse completely. What Buddha says is Atitan nanvagameti. So that means let not one revive in the past, renew the past experience. Nappatikanke anagatang. So one may not hope about the future and give life to the future experience. So one is not dreaming, fantasizing about the future. Because, why? Because yadatitang pahinantang. Now some sort of an explanation is given here. Why we should not do it? Another excuse, another reason is given here. Yadatitang pahinantang. Whatever the past, it has gone. It has happened. So you can't correct the past now. It has already happened. It has gone. On the other hand, appattancha anagatang. The future haven't happened yet. Future hasn't reached yet. But everything we are imagining. So we are wasting the fuel in one sense. Because suppose we may be thinking about, say, life insurance after 50 years. Who knows we are going to live after 50 years. So the insurance company is going to earn money because of our fantasizing, because of our dreaming. So likewise in the typical situations, people are giving various hopes, various wishes, various promises, talking about the future, and we are imagining, we are thinking, we are fantasizing, and in one hand we are generating karma, and on the other hand we are losing the present moment. Now let's get into the second verse. That is the most important part in this sutta. Now Venerable Mahakaccana is going to explain the second verse. Paccupannancayo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati asangherang asangkuppang tang vidva manubruhe. Now Venerable Mahakaccana, without giving much explanation to the first statement, he is now asking what is sanghirati. What is drawn to the present experience? How one get drawn to the present experience? So what is sanghirati? Now he is going to explain that. Katancauso paccuppannesu dhammesu sanghirati. So what is this? There are things happen in the present moment due to the present causes, and how one get drawn to it. Yancauso chankung echa rupa ubhayametam paccuppannam. Now Venerable Mahakaccana says, now there is I, there is form, both happens in the present moment. So this has some very deep meaning. Even though we think we have I and we had I, now also I am having I, in the future also I am going to have I. So we are sort of feeling that we are having a continuous I. What I am talking is the I faculty. Similarly, we were seeing something or someone. Currently also I can see him or her. In the future also I can see him or her. So likewise we are giving some life, giving some existence, giving some continuity to this whole process. But deeply speaking, Venerable Mahakaccana says, now everything happens in the present moment. Everything happens because when things are coming together, when the causes come in together, as a result it manifests here. As a result they arise here, in this very moment. So, on the other hand, we are going through some momentary experience, but because of our ignorance, because of our tanha, we are considering it as a continuity. We are experiencing it as a continuity. Just to take a simple example, there are several light bulbs here. Now they are 50 times switching off. So per second there are 50 times switching off. But we see they are always on. So we see the continuous light, continuous illumination is available in Kalalgoda. But probably the ones who understand, did some science, you understand it's a kind of a cycle we have in the alternative current, and it's a kind of a sine wave. So it's per second it is 50 hertz, you might have heard. But our eye is not capable of recognizing this switching off, the off time, but we only attach to the on time. So as a result, we think there was light available in the past, currently also light available, illumination, light is available, and the future also light is available. So same thing available, if we can take the same sort of kind of a situation to our own body, to our own experience. So it may be not 50 hertz. So we don't know how we can measure it. It is so fragile, so transient, so rapid, arising and passing away is available. But our faculties, our eye faculty, ear faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty, body faculty is not capable of understanding this process, not capable of distinguishing this process. So it only grabs because of the tanha, mainly because of the craving, always going to the samudaya side, always going to the arising side. We simply disregard the passing away side. We are always, now say for example, just to give a very easy example, say every time you want to see something, say you are very much addicted to seeing films, for example. Okay, you are now looking at particular film. Now it is say 1.5 hours, 2 hours something. Now it is finished. Now you want to switch on another channel to see another film. You want to switch on another channel to see another film. So likewise, when it is coming towards the end, we immediately attach to another arising side. When it is coming somewhat towards the end, attach to another side, another arising side. Very much like when monkey jumping from one branch to the other branch, when he let go the present branch, immediately grabs the other branch. So the mind basically the mind never encounters some sort of the cessation, instead constantly get into the arising side, samudaya side. So as a result, we feels some kind of a continuity. I was there, I am living in the present, and I will be in the future. So I have seen, currently I am seeing, in the future also I will see. So likewise, our languages are really enforcing or reinforcing our wrong understanding. Because our language has all past, present, future tense, all vocabularies and all these things, our conventions, and all these conventions, all our languages are reinforcing our ignorance in one sense. So in a way, Buddha is using the same language to explain us how much transient this situation, how much ignorant we are related to our experience. Now, in this sutta, Sanghirati, where Venerable Mahakaccana tells, so this I, this form, happens in the present moment due to present causes. Tasminche pachuppanne chandaraga patibaddang hoti viññānam. Now, suppose at this very moment, this particular form is very desirable, very attractive. As a result, immediately, our consciousness, our mind being drawn to that present experience. Just to explain it, let's assume that we had an entirely free mind which is not attached to anything. But when something really attractive coming align with your eye, immediately you start to appreciate it, you start to give value to it, and as a result, you lost the freedom, the mind lost the freedom, and immediately now it is being established there. Mind now being drawn there, drawn to that particular object. Now, Chandaraga Patibaddang Viññānam. So, where mind again become lustful, desirable, and it is established there. Now you lost your home. You were comfortably at home. Someone has asked to come and let's go to a cinema. So you gave the chanda, you gave the consent, and now you are going to see the cinema. Similarly, say momentarily, so I am telling to explain you to see something. Similarly, you are comfortably in an unattached, unassociated kind of a situation, free situation, but due to the attractiveness of the scenery, you lost this present freedom. Now again mind get established in this scenery, in this form. So Venerable Mahakaccana explained the same situation happening to the eye, to the ear, where say you had some sort of I am adding this freedom part just to explain. Assume that you had completely unbound kind of a mind which is not attached to anything, but suppose you heard a beautiful song. Now immediately you lost where you are, and immediately now you start to murmur the words of the song. Now you are established there. Now you are being drawn to that experience. You lost the freedom. You lost home. Similarly, Venerable Mahakaccana explained this to the nose. Say you smell some sort of a beautiful or rather really pleasurable smell, odor, and as a result you are being drawn to that. Similarly, say you are experiencing some sort of a very delicious taste, you are being drawn to that. Similarly, suppose you are going through very pleasurable tactile sensation, some tangibles, you are being drawn to that. Suppose some sort of an image coming to the mind, very desirable, very attractive, again mind starts to manifest there. Again you are being drawn to that. So likewise you can understand how one get drawn to the present experience. It is easy to understand with an assumption that our mind can stay unattached, completely free. So when our mind being drawn to any of these experience, our freedom has gone. Now we are drawn to these experiences. Mind again become established. Mind consciousness again become established. Again become lustful. Now, what is asanghirati? Now Venerable Mahakaccana says, na chandaraga patipaddang viññānaṁ hoti. The opposite. Where the mind is not getting to some sort of a lust, some sort of a desirable state. Na tang abhinandati. Because of that, there is no delight arise. Na sanghirati. Therefore, the mind is not drawn to that experience. So, is it possible to do this? So, this is the beautiful part in the verse. So, how one does it? Paccupannanca yo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati. Asanghirang asankuppang. So, that is the state we have to maintain. While maintaining such state, one has something to do. Now, if we understand it again very clearly, now mind is not drawn to the past. Atitan nanvagamiti. Mind is not going to the future. Appatikanke anagatang. Now where's the mind? Now we are in the present. Present also we have something to do. It has to be asanghirang. That means related to the present experience, mind should not really get hold to that. Mind should not be drawn to the present experience. Asanghirang. So, in another sense, mind has to be immovable. Mind has to have some sort of a titi, some sort of a stability, where even the present experience should not change the position of the mind. The mind has to be immovable. Mind has to be stable. Even the experience is very beautiful, very attractive. We have to have according to this verse, we have to have a situation where mind does not loses its location, does not shift from the location, but rather it should be capable of maintaining that location. So let's get into in a way theoretically, that is how it is telling. On the other hand, asankuppang. That means, so, opposite. That means it should not become somewhat agitated because of the present experience. Say if it is beautiful, the mind get attracted. If it is something irritable, something unpleasant, it might get shakeable. Again, mind get angry, resentful. So even that should not happen. Asanghirang asankupan. So it has to be immovable, it has to be very stable, and again, it has to be unshakable. And paccupannanca yo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati. While maintaining that such mind, the present experience, which is happening due to causes, due to present causes, in the present moment, there are things are happening. Tatta tatta vipassati. They are then and there. So each and every moment, when and where it is happening. So one is seeing it with wisdom. So this is very much the vipassana process. So basically Venerable Mahakaccana has clarified so many other things. What is related to the past, to the future, all imaginations, all various philosophies and many things. Now he is really taking us to the core of the practice, and it is in a way very advanced. So one cannot have this kind of an unshakable, immovable state of mind, and even while maintaining it, and one has to see how the present causes are conditioning the arising, and on the other hand the passing away of the present experience. This is in a way fairly advanced. Say, for example, so suppose you are doing some anapanasati meditation, and now say you are capable of seeing in-breath, out-breath, and you are developing mindfulness, and you have fair amount of concentration, and as a result, suppose now you are capable of maintaining your attention on the breath for a considerable period of time, and now you can't even distinguish whether it is in-breath or out-breath. Basically, now you have fair amount of concentration. Assume that we are going to do Vedanānupassana. Now suppose there are various feelings arise in the body, and now suppose your concentration build up. Now you are focusing or locating that build up concentration to that particular feeling. Assume it is very pleasurable feeling. So in the first kind of phase of vipassana, actually our mind, we have to locate on that place. So basically we are not in this verse. We are not actually operating at this verse, because our mind well established on this feeling. Without it, we can't really observe the feeling. Say it is rising, changing, it's very pleasurable and all these things, but we are not being carried away by the feeling. It's true, but it is well established in this feeling. On the other hand, say there's a kind of a painful feeling happens. You may not really agitate it, or you may not hate it, but it is still established in this feeling. At the beginning, we have to start operating at this level. But we are not maintaining this stage continuously. When we are practicing again and again, when we are doing continuous practice, now mind gets some kind of a wisdom because of this continuous observation. Now mind realize, okay, there is something going on. There are certain causes every time happens at this very moment, in the present moment, and as a result, this pain arises. As a result, this pleasurable feeling arises. To be precise, in Nandakovada Sutta, Venerable Nandaka mentions that there are causes conducive to arise pleasurable feeling. There are causes or contact conducive to generate pleasurable feeling. As a result, pleasurable feelings arise. There are conducive contact to generate painful feelings. As a result, painful feelings arise. Now one may see even the causes happening in the present moment and how they are generating the feeling. Either it may be pleasurable or painful. Again and again when one sees that, so again and again some sort of insights generated in the mind. Now as a result, mind gains some kind of a wisdom. So in another sutta, as a kind of a very beautiful cause and effect relationship, Buddha mentions, if one has fair amount of concentration and maintain that concentration on the present moment objects, some kind of phenomena, so one would get fair amount of understanding. Samahito yatha bhutam pajanati. And this understanding leads to what? This understanding leads to some kind of a dispassion. This understanding causes this experience to be little faded now. At the beginning you can see the whole experience, you can understand even the subtle detail, but again and again when the mind sees it, now the whole experience becomes somewhat blurred. It's very much like to a artwork which is drawn through say water colors. If someone throws some water to it, so all the beauty, all the lines are now gone. It's very much like blurred. Likewise, the whole experience becomes somewhat blurred, and as a result, you can't enjoy it. So now the experience and the observing mind are somewhat detached. Sukhang vedanang vediyamano visangyutto tang vedeti. Dukkhaṃ vedanaṃ vediyamāno visaññutto taṃ vedeti. Adukkhaṃ sukhaṃ vediyamāno visaññutto taṃ vedeti. That's another stage where Buddha explains that even the pleasurable feelings are there, but mind is going through it without an attachment. Even the painful feelings are there, mind is going through it, experiencing it without attachment, quite detached. There may be neutral feelings, but still mind experience it without any attachment. Now assume we are doing further, we are continuing further, then there is a possibility mind completely let go of this experience and become momentarily maybe free. Now we are coming to we are touching this particular verse. Asanghirang asankuppang tang vidva manubruhe, where now mind has some skill to maintain or sustain itself. It doesn't need any help from the other external facilities. But if we are not mastering it, if we are not giving value to it, if we are not appreciating that experience, we are going beyond that experience. So we further see things. We are trying to do something rather than trying to maintain that unattached state of mind. Very much like, say, you are lost in the sea and you simply have a boat, and now you are searching for an island. Because of your search, suppose you come across an island, so what you need to do? You have to find it as a refuge. You have to find it as an island. You have to recognize it as an island. You have to appreciate it. You have to give value to it. But if not, you are further rowing. You miss the place. Similarly, in this practice, so if when you are going through the whole vipassana process, mind starts to let go the experience. Mind starts to detach from this experience. And now mind can't see the object or mind can't see the detail, and mind likes to stay unattached in a little comfortable zone, in a little unattached state by itself. It might happen momentarily, but if the yogi understand, the practitioner understand the value of it, again and again it has to happen. Again and again one has to give value to it. Again and again one has to try to enhance it, to maximize it. The beginning it may be 1 minute, next time maybe 2 minutes, next time maybe 5 minutes, next time 15 minutes, next time 30 minutes, next time 1 hour. Say if you are capable of maximizing like that, now mind understand there's a possibility to stay there. It was always with the mess of the objects, but now he understood a different domain. He understood a different orientation where there is nothing. So at this stage, if one maintain this for 1 hour, at that time, during the training period, we are not trying to do anything. Basically, we do nothing. Can we do nothing? So far we are doing so many things. So once we reach this stage, we have to do nothing. So that is how we have to maximize it. Whatever we do is harmful to the practice. So suppose we do that. Now say you are capable of maintaining your mind at that stage. So at that time, now mind is unshakable. Now mind is not moving. Now mind is not changing its position, but well at home. Well at home. Just maintaining its location, well at ease, well at home, unattached. Now, is it the end of the practice or in a way the beginning of the practice? So according to this verse, so we have to find out paccupannancayo dhammang tatta tatta vipassati asangherang asangkuppang yang vidva manubruhe. That manubruhe word has a further meaning, interesting meaning. So one has to develop maintaining that state. So we have found that unshakable, unattached, relaxed, spacious, unmovable kind of a state, and one has to develop maintaining that state. Tang vidva manubruhe. One has to, actually vidva has a meaning of the wise. Now the wise person has to maintain, use that as the ground, and while being in that ground, one is now growing. Now in a way, so this is where the Bhaddekaratta Sutta is taking us. In a way very advanced. So we have to come to that state. We have to find the refuge. We have to find the island. We have to find this unmovable state, but still that is not the end. There again, one has to do the present moment practice. Now one is not much interested about the past, not much interested about the future, but rather in the present moment, one is seeing how things are happening, how things are coming together, and how things are manifesting, how things are passing away, without losing one's position, maintaining some sort of an stillness, maintaining some sort of an unshakable mind. So this is very much the, in a way, when actually that particular deity says, this is the fundamental stage of the holy life. So how advanced is the holy life then? So we think, okay, I see arising and passing away, I am through. No, that is only the beginning, maybe very much like. So we have to come into this stage, and that is where we need to understand how things are happening in the mind. So basically, when mind is cluttered, can we really understand the whole process in the mind? Difficult. But when you have this kind of a refuge in the mind, this kind of a clarity in the mind, then you have enough time to observe what is really going on. Why this mind losing this state? Why this mind again loses its home? Why again it's moving, that sanghirati instead of asanghirati? Why it becomes sanghirati? Why it is being drawn to this new experience? Instead of asankuppang, why it becomes sankuppang? Why it is again become agitated? Now we have to come back to ourselves. It is not the external causes really, but the internal causes. Because of our some sort of tendencies, some sort of habits, we can't maintain this state. Even though we theoretically understand, and we understand this is the refuge, this is the beautiful, unattached, unbounded state, still we can't maintain it. Why? So this is what we need to further investigate, and why we can't maintain it. But this is the aspiration we have to have. We have to try to maintain it. Even when it is not that we close our eyes and maintain it. It is not that we lock our ears and maintain it. It is when things are going, when things are happening, still one has to maintain it. That is why it is telling, asanghirang asangkuppang tang vidva manubruhe. When one understands that place, that situation, unattached situation, and based on that situation one grows. So this is how the verses of Bhaddekaratta Sutta become so meaningful, so advanced, and let's further discuss this again on next month, because this even though these verses are very concise, it has very deeper meaning. And with that hope, I will conclude today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for attentive listening.